welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam, and I'm rewatching for the first time in this lifetime. I can't speak to any previous lifetimes, whether or not they exist, if me in them has watched. So, just disclaimer, the lawyer said I had to include that.
Makes perfect sense.
Indeed.
And today we are talking about episode 11 of season 1, Catch the Tail by the Tiger.
Cool. Let's talk about Doc and Sprocket, because, y'all, I gasped when Doc offered Sprocket a piece of candy and then immediately leashed him up and was like, I'm going to take you outside. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's set the scene. So there's a big thunderstorm happening outside, and Doc is in the mindset of like, this is perfect walking weather. Let's go for a walk. And Sprocket is obviously terrified, and they've clearly lived with each other for a while now, and Doc should know that Sprocket is a dog who is afraid of thunder, which is a very common thing for dogs, and yet Doc is like, hey, let's go do this walk, and then, like, he's like, oh, well, I'll just give you this, like, red licorice, and then leashes him up and is like, we're gonna go outside. And I gasped. I was like, I mean, and here's the thing, I, as a dog walker, I have done that to dogs, to trick them, to, like, get them to go outside, to go to the bathroom, or try to trick them of, like, if they've got something in their mouth they're not supposed to have, like, you trade them for a treat or something, but the relationship with Doc and Sprocket is clearly not a realistic, like, depiction of a dog and their owner, and, yeah, just him being like, I'm gonna make you do this walk in a thunderstorm that you're terrified. We've talked a lot about Doc and his tendencies as an owner, and it just feels like it's part of the trajectory of, should Doc have a dog?
Which also, like, and like, I get wanting to go for a walk in a storm. That sounds like a great time. Leave your dog at home.
Yeah.
Just leave the dog at home.
Just go by yourself. Go see if, you know, your neighbor who you have an on-again, off-again friendship with wants to go with you. Maybe let your dog just, like, get your dog a little thunder jacket and let him hide under the bed. And let him, you know, ride out the storm. Get him some nice anxiety medication or something, you know?
I will say, he does bring out the lightning deflector.
So, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Do we think Sprocket is a Red Vines guy or a Twizzlers guy?
Everyone's a Red Vines guy. Twizzlers are disgusting.
Were Twizzlers even around in the 80s?
Oh, good question.
No, Twizzlers exist when the guy who made Red Vines tried to make a deal with the devil, and he made a wish on a monkey's paw for something as successful as Red Vines, and he got something that looked just like Red Vines and sold almost as well, but actually tasted like the incarnation of sin and regret.
I mean, yeah, Twizzlers taste like plastic. They're awful.
I'm so sorry, y'all. We made it 11 episodes, and now the podcast has to end because I'm a Twizzlers girl, and I hate the Red Vines.
Oh,
kidding
here's
me,
the
Beth.
thing, though. There's more of us than there are of you. We can keep the podcast going, and we'll just distract you, and every time it's your turn to talk, we'll just offer you a bite of Twizzlers, and that'll keep you busy for 5 minutes, because that's how long it takes to chew a bite of Twizzler.
Oh, goodness. This is the how we're starting off this episode.
Okay, now it's really going to test our resolve, because if Fraggle Rock is all about, like, living with different kinds of people and, like, embracing our differences, then...
See, but the thing is you're missing the episode that is, it's the Lost Season 2 episode where they have, the whole thing is about embracing differences, and then they find out that the secret 6th Fraggle, Blumbo, is actually a fan of Twizzlers, and they banish him. Blumbo is no longer allowed to be there. He takes his Twizzlers and he leaves. There's a whole song about it.
Honestly, that sounds like it might actually fit in the canon.
It definitely exists on my AO3 account.
Blumbo.
So yes, let's talk about this lightning deflector hat.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the end of the episode when we get to the end of the episode, but when Doc brought it out, I immediately said, that thing is gonna get Sprocket struck by lightning and will kill him.
Yeah, but okay, so he says, in the unlikely event that you were struck by lightning, this rod here will collect the electricity and channel it down through the coil of this transformer. Now, personally, I know nothing about how this hypothetically would work. So if anyone out there is more of a science-y person than me, and you know for sure whether or not this would work, please let us know.
I just want to know which Transformer it was. Like, it's got to be one of the little ones, right? You couldn't fit Optimus Prime in there. Maybe Bumblebee.
I should have known that was coming. But then he says, of course, I haven't tested this invention yet. Like, excuse me, sir.
Right.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of stock into this thing that looks like it's made of metal, and he's gonna put on his dog's head.
Which, to his credit, he also wears one when they come back in later. Like, yes. He's willing to take the same risks.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it better.
I mean, it doesn't make it... I think it makes it less worse, but I don't think it makes it better.
Right.
I suppose so.
Like, the bad pile is smaller, but the good pile's not bigger.
So, spoiler alert for the end of the episode, Sprocket is fine. Sprocket will always be fine. Sprocket will never go to live on a farm upstate where he can run around and chase rabbits. Sprocket lives forever.
Sure.
Double spoiler, Sprocket apparently got struck by lightning and loved it.
Yeah, okay,
Sprocket had a great time.
I guess we're just getting to the ending.
Yeah.
When he came in and was just like frazzled from the lightning, I was like, Doc, what are you doing with your dog? Yeah. And he was super stoked to go back out and do it again, which I don't know if that's like the best note to end on for a kid's show where it's like, see kids, it's totally fine. Go get struck by lightning as long as you're wearing like a little aluminum foil hat with a light bulb on it. You'll be just fine. Go play in a thunderstorm near lightning.
I guess it fits the theme of overcoming fears, but to me that wasn't the stronger theme in the rest of the episode with Gobo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, great pivot, let's get to the rest of the episode.
Let's do that.
So, Gobo is there to go check for letters for Traveling Matt, but there haven't been any for like 2 weeks, and they're all really nervous and worried. There's also a moment, and this is, again, getting into sort of the deeper lore questions that I, as a finicky pedant, am going to be getting into. They're, like, right by the edge, and Gobo's about to go out, and Red and Wembley are there, and Wembley's like, it's got a helmet, it's dressed for battle, because he sees Sprocket with the helmet on. Mm-hmm. And then there's the thunder, and Wembley goes, it's starting! And do Fraggles not know what thunder is?
They probably don't encounter it very often, like only if they go outside to the Gorg's garden would they encounter weather.
Yeah, they live in caves, which are presumably underground or, just in a large structure. There's a lot of questions about the realm and universe that the Fraggles caves dwell in. But, yeah, I guess they wouldn't necessarily come face-to-face with thunder unless, they're in the Gorg's garden or they're exploring outer space.
Yeah. But that was a trip and cute little world-building thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Wembley's like, no, don't go, and Gobo declares, a Fraggle's gotta live by the rule of the rock, and then doesn't elaborate on what that means?
Rule of the rock, no pinching.
That's a good rule, unless it's consensual.
Yeah. It is a trip, though, because that's the first time he puts on this kind of like, almost like a John Wayne kind of a cowboy affectation.
Yeah.
And Red makes fun of him for it. She's like, you need to take more theater classes. Which, can I just say, great burn. Real good one, Red.
Red's always got really good burns.
Yeah.
So Gobo goes, checks, and there's a great little joke that made me laugh while he's gone. Wembley's like, oh my God, Red, where are you going? And Red's walking away, and she's like, I can't stand the tension, but she yawns. She's like, I can't stand the tension. And it's like, yeah, you seem real tense there, bud. Yawning is also just like a theme. There's like everybody's the rats yawn, the trash heap yawns. There's just a lot of yawns in this episode.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even clock that.
Yeah, I forgot that Red yawned, so you're right. That's definitely popping up again.
Yeah, I remember the red yawning and like just kind of like throwing shade at the whole situation of being like, oh yeah, it's so tense, but yeah, I don't know, like later if there is like any correlation between the two or if just, the rats were just waking up.
So of course Boober gets this great line because
it's so good.
Gobo comes back, there's still no postcard, there hasn't been for almost 2 weeks, and Boober sounding downright chipper, well, maybe a big crack opened in the earth and swallowed him up, just like this nightmare I had.
And he brings the nightmare up multiple times throughout the episode.
Yeah.
It must have been a very vivid nightmare, very fresh in his mind.
Can we make an Instagram account for Boober?
Just Boober quotes?
And just like Boober quotes, but like use them to sell just kind of like frou-frou MLM spiritual stuff.
Boober would never.
No, he wouldn't, but his quotes would.
I was thinking Moki would be the one to get into an MLM.
Yep.
That They should do that on Return to the Rock.
Oh, they might.
Oh, the whole lesson is just like, kids, don't fall for an MLM.
Right.
Don't fall for an MLM.
Moki did it. She learned, and you can learn too.
Always follow your dreams, unless that they are pyramid schemes. Always follow your dreams.
They gotta hire you for season 2 now. There's also like a quote from like Red where she said that, because they were talking about the postcards, and she says that Matt's like too cheap to buy stamps, which raises questions in my mind. First off, that Fraggles know what stamps are, and also if he's not getting stamps for postage for the postcards, like, is he just dropping them off at Doc's house every time he has a new postcard, or does he have just a deal with the mail carriers or something? Like, how are these postcards getting back to Doc's almost every day when they're coming in frequently?
And it also throws the wrench in the works of Red having some grasp of what it means to be cheap.
That's true, like a monetary system.
2 episodes ago, they didn't know what money was.
Yeah. Just little inconsistencies, but yeah, I don't know. That stuck out to me, but I'm sure it's just a throwaway line. Just like her throwing even more shade at Matt because she hates his postcards.
Exactly.
So they come back, postcards aren't there, and there's this amazing scene where they're talking, like they're walking and they're talking, and Gobo's talking about how he's going to have to go get Matt, but they're walking, and it's very clearly just the puppeteers kind of bopping their hands up and down. There's a green screen behind them to make it look like they're moving through space. And there's a gradual zoom on the camera to increase the illusion of moving through space. And I have not clocked this, and I want to go back and watch the episode to see if they do this. As the cave on the green screen gets bigger, the reverb tail on the audio of their voices gets longer.
Oh, wow.
What?
I did not catch that.
Yeah. They change the reverb gradually as the cave that they're in gets bigger to complete the illusion of moving through space. It is such a subtle detail, and it's so cleverly done.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a credit to all the people behind the scenes of Fraggle Rock. Like, it's just so seamless that I did notice that they were on a green screen, obviously, like the way that they were filming it. But yeah, just like the little details to just make it so much more fleshed out and feel so much more real.
Oh, man, I love that.
Yeah.
So Gobo says that, if anything ever happens to Uncle Matt, it'll be his job to go out and rescue him. And, Red laughs at the idea, says he couldn't find his way out of his back room back there. And I don't miss the, we talked about like the kind of meanness between characters of these early days, like teasing each other a lot. Like, it's kind of okay when, Red is like rolling her eyes at Uncle Matt's postcards, like she's got some great burns. But when Gobo and Red are like constantly antagonizing each other, that's when it feels a little uncomfortable to me.
But there's a moment of growth here.
Oh, yes.
She says a really mean thing. Wembley laughs. Moki doesn't.
Interesting.
Moki just kind of looks over at Gobo and looks back and at Red, and then looks over at Gobo again, is kind of confused. And then when Gobo has like a negative reaction, Wembley flips and is like, yeah, Red, why are you being mean?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely a moment of like, hey, like maybe we shouldn't be mean to each other.
I mean, that clocks for Wembley just because he flips like every other minute. But that's a good point about like Moki and showing like, not all of the characters are like, in the same mindset.
Well, he also, he'll flip, but he won't confront people with the new stances he takes.
Yeah.
Will he?
That's fair. I mean, yeah, it could be a bit more, confrontational for him than normal, where normal he's just, kind of siding with people or backing folks up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, Wembley stands up for himself and his friends when it gets, really important, but it'll usually take him a whole episode to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, It's again, and it's not, and they don't draw attention to it, right? They don't make it a big thing. They don't make it a very special episode.
Yeah.
But it's there if you're looking for it. And even if you're not, your subconscious is going to pick it. I don't know. I really like that moment.
Yeah. And, Red is going to go on a whole emotional journey about...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, though. There's a really great little prestige moment here with Red at the end that I have notes on.
So Gobo says, I better do like a doozer does and get on with the job. And I just hope that that's like a common saying for them.
I mean, he's doing it in the cowboy affectation, so either way, it's great, though. Like, the lines that he says with this specific sort of like, I better do what it's just, that specific cowboy affectation is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed just like, the line deliveries of Gobo in this episode are like, they feel different than like we've seen Jerry Nelson play the character before for whatever reason, like just because maybe the tone of the episode, and he's trying to play like Gobo more serious in this moment because, you know, he's being confronted with this big thing that he's going to have to do, and he's secretly very scared to do it.
I have so many thoughts about this when we get to the turning point. I have so many thoughts about this.
But yeah, the line delivery. Yeah, I was going to say, after this, we kind of go into the first of... Are there 3 songs in this episode?
Sort of. So the last one is just kind of a slower, sadder reprise of this one.
Oh, that's fair, yeah. But this first one is shares the same name with the episode name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Catch the Tail by the Tiger. And for me, it gave a whole lot of Jimmy Buffett feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tropical calypso feeling.
Beachy. Yeah.
I liked the content of it a lot. The concept of, do this the most difficult way you can, because it's worth doing difficult things, because that's how you grow. That line where Wem's like, isn't it catch the tail by the tiger? And he's like, yeah, if you want to do it the easy way. That's not a thing you see a lot in any kind of media, regardless, like especially children's media. And putting that out there to be like, yeah, no, sometimes it's worth doing things that are really difficult because they're difficult. Do it the hard way. You'll grow more. Yeah.
Although it's especially worth noting that Gobo is voicing this sentiment when he's very much trying to psych himself up to do the hard thing that we'll find out later he's very scared to do and does not want to do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he'd be like, not only am I going to do it, I'm going to do it the hard way.
Yep.
So does anyone want to hear about the origins of these human phrases that are woven into this Fraggle song?
Yes.
if you would have that information.
Of course I do.
I did, like, we've talked a lot about how, like, anything that they say in the songs is, like, it's out of context, and so there is, like, a lot of allusions to things in the real world, but I was like, these are a lot of human phrases and sayings that we have that in this song, the Fraggles are very familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm quoting here from nmk.world. I don't know what sort of a site that is. Apologies if they're terrible. They say, to have a tiger by the tail is a complicated situation. The phrase refers to something that may be more dangerous or difficult to escape from or uncomfortable to continue. It can also mean that you have your hands on something that's much more powerful than you know or understand, which Gobo is definitely doing here.
Yep.
Continues, some believe that the phrase originates from a Chinese proverb with a similar meaning that says, he who rides a tiger is afraid to dismount.
Which mount?
Basically bringing up a similar image of, someone encountering a powerful beast, but having to stay in uncomfortable control of it.
Yeah, that tracks.
And then to take the bull by the horns, this is from idiomaorigins.org. Some sources maintain that it is an old Spanish saying first attested in England from the 18th century. Others maintain the expression is a lot newer from America during the 19th century from the sport of bulldogging, in which cattlemen would wrestle steers to the ground by their horns.
That was a thing?
Wow.
I've been very bored, but I've never been, sure, I'll wrestle a bull bored.
Not worth it.
And then, so the song lyrics go, a bird in need is a friend indeed, which is a mashup of a friend in need is a friend indeed, and some other proverb about birds. It could be...
Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Exactly, one of those. So, of course, this one we don't know the origins of either. It says a version of this proverb was known by the 3rd century BC. Quintus Ennius wrote, amicus certus in re incerta cernitur, translating to, a sure friend is known when in difficulty.
Wait, hold on, what was that again?
Amicus certus in re incerta cernitur.
I hardly know her.
I knew you were setting me up for a joke. I just didn't know which one it was going to be.
You can cut that if you need to. It was not voluntary at this point.
And then to pull the wool over someone's eyes. One theory is that it derives from the habit of wearing woolen wigs, which could slip over one's eyes, but this is dubious because by the wearing of wigs, particularly in America, had largely fallen away by 1839, which is where we get our first known citation of this phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Another explanation is that wool refers to woolen caps, which could be pulled over the eyes, but caps were made from all sorts of material, so why wool in particular? A much more plausible explanation is simply the pulling down of a person's hair over their eyes. It says this makes better sense, especially as wool is recorded as slang for hair in America at that time. It's also from idiomorigins.org. Thank you, Internet.
Can I also just say, pulling someone's eyes over the wool is terrifying. That's unpleasant imagery.
Just yank them out of the sockets.
Just then drag them over something that's rough.
Yeah.
Because, that's what you do with eyes.
It's a great sensation.
But again, I like the sentiment of this, and I think
absolutely.
It speaks to your point that like he's trying to psych himself up, that these don't always make sense. I think that feels very intentional to me.
One more thought on the song.
Mm-hmm.
The very last line before we get the last chorus is, sounds behind us and hounds will find us, and death and taxes and all, which really makes me think that this is, left over from interactions with humans, and they just have the phrase death and taxes in their vocabulary without really knowing what taxes are.
Yeah.
That would make sense. That would make a great deal of sense.
And so at some point, I could have sworn at some point we're going to get this great line from Boober that only two things are certain in life, death and laundry. But I couldn't find a reference to it on Muppet Wiki. They just cite, there's a Dave Goelz quote talking about Boober, and just talking about, Boober's character in general, but they don't cite where exactly that quote comes from. And if it's only from Dave Goelz talking about Boober, then why does my brain have this specific memory of Boober saying death and laundry? So I'm going to keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be that it's so, in line with his character that, sometimes memory is funny. It just crafts itself sometimes. But I also wouldn't be surprised if that's a line that pops up from him at some point in the series.
Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a very Boober line.
So yeah, before we get to the postcard, we have...
Boober's telling Wembley about his nightmare again, right?
Yep.
But this time, in telling about, the crack in the earth opening up, he says that the pit is full of germs.
Right? That is a 2020 nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Very relatable.
I was just trying to think, because we can't see germs, so would it just be, it looks like an empty pit, but really, it's full of all of the germs and diseases Boober's afraid of? Or would they be when we think of, the microscope, would it be a bunch of giant germs, crawling around a pit? That's what I was thinking about.
I mean, I don't know. Don't most pits have germs? Who disinfects pits?
That's true. You could argue that germs are literally everywhere and on everything.
Don't
tell Boober.
Don't tell Boober.
Don't tell me what? I can't do a Boober. That would have been funny. Anyways.
So, minor spoiler, Boober at some point in the series is going to get a song all about germs.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
And I won't say how that song plays out, but it is a delight.
I love this for him, and I foresee only joy. Only joy and relaxation for Boober.
So yeah, Gobo
lost his jacket. Am I losing my mind, or was he...
No, you're right, and it feels weird.
It felt so weird.
Yeah, he's just his little tank top now.
Mm-hmm. Which he does end up, skipping ahead a little bit, he is going to put on a whole different outfit at the end of this episode, and so I didn't know if maybe that was the reason he lost it, so it's just easier for him to don everything else later. But it just after seeing him for so many episodes, it was just such a different look that I wasn't expecting for even though it's literally just him losing his little jacket.
Yeah. And this is pre-season 1 makeover, so his look later on is going to be different from what it is now.
Yeah. But then it'll stay that way at the least.
Exactly.
The exception of a couple of minor costume changes.
Yeah. So Red is oh, Gobo must be, going to get ready. And Moki asks, if isn't he scared? And Gobo's doing that puffed up thing, oh, what? I was born for adventure. Yeah, it's in my blood. He's psyching himself up. But I want to pay specific attention to the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, that was the big theme in this episode, is the expectations placed on him of, you are, of course, going to go on this big, dangerous journey because that is who you are. That is the role you play in our group of friends, in our society as a whole. So yeah, that's just something I want us to pay attention to throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Is it definitely gets more intense throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that tracks because, Gobo is, we're 11 episodes in now, and he has been, like, their fearless leader for, well, pretty much the entire time. So it makes sense why they would look to him and be like, yeah, he's gonna do this thing. Red keeps, like, calling him out on the fact that he is afraid. And, well, I was gonna say that her and Gobo are no, because I guess Wembley's, like, his best friend, technically. But
yeah.
Her and Gobo are very close, and they're very similar in a lot of ways, and so it makes sense also why she maybe is, like, clocking him and being like, oh no, you are afraid to do this. But, Gobo's also, like, such a proud character that he doesn't want to admit that he's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she keeps being like, you're not actually going to go. You're not actually going to go. And that is a really good setup for the moment that we have later, which we'll get to.
So I feel like there's got to be a specific screenwriting term for this thing where you show all the differences between the various characters by having them all react to the same thing in their different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast.
Yeah, so he's going to go, I got to go rescue my Uncle Madden. Loki says, oh, he's the bravest Fraggle in the universe. Wembley says he's got ice water in his veins. Boober says he's going to be up to his neck in germs. And Red says he's the biggest bluffer I've ever seen. So we get a great snapshot of their different reactions to...
Yeah.
All their...
Which is a really useful tool.
Defined characters. Also, one of them says he's got cold tootsies, which I loved.
I love that line.
Instead of cold feet, it's cool tootsies. Yeah. Red says that one. She's like, he's not going to go.
Yeah,
he's got cold tootsies.
Yep. Yeah. I just liked it.
It's cute.
You don't hear the word tootsies enough.
No. Not since they stopped making Tootsie Pops.
Yeah.
And then we get a traveling Matt card. I love that this starts off as really silly, and he's like trying to translate the language of car horns. And he's like explaining like, yeah, no. And you get these little images of like the car honks at him, and he like makes a honk noise back, which I don't know if normal people do that, but every time I've been honked at as a pedestrian, I've also made a honk noise back because screw you, other car. But the fact that at the end he like gets it, and he's like, yeah, this roughly translates to howdy neighbor, move it or lose it. And I'm like, oh, you understood that. Like that's about what that means. Yeah. Cool. You speak car now.
Which I just thought was like delightful. Just the image of Matt beeping back at the cars and, having what he perceives as communication. It made me happy.
Yeah. It was a cute moment. I related to it a lot as an autistic dude.
Legit.
I also love that we now know the official language is Fragglish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
As he says, translated loosely into Fragglish.
And yet, Fragglish is the same as English.
Don't think about it too hard.
Actually, Fragglish came first. English is rooted in Proto-Fragglish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
I would believe that the Fraggles were around on Earth for longer. At least we're more a developed society before humans created all of our own languages, including English.
Yeah. Alrighty, so he decides that before he goes, he has to go visit the trash heap.
Yeah.
Who I love. Absolutely adore the trash heap. And they're all sleeping. Everybody's sleepy in this episode.
Mm-hmm. We get this wonderful moment. She says, rise and shine, fellas, we've got a seeker. Philo has this great line, there's one born every minute.
Yeah.
Like there's a sucker born every minute. But I love the idea that the Fraggles that come to her for wisdom and advice are seekers.
Yeah. That's a nice sentiment.
And it's almost, it feels very like anticlimactic. Because she's like, oh yeah, I knew your uncle. He was really cool. I gave him a bunch of advice about adventures, and I told him to go already. You just don't go.
Yeah.
He's probably fine. He probably has the flu.
It was a very weird session with Marjory. Because at first, she's like, Gobo's like, oh, I've got to go. It's my duty. She's like, what's with this duty all of a sudden? But then upon hearing that he's Matt's nephew, she's like, oh, yeah, I remember when he was little, and I told him just to go already. Enjoy it. And then, again, another 180. She's like, why look for trouble? Don't go. Okay.
I It feels to me almost like this is like one of her good days and like she's actually being prophetic.
Well, she does say that he probably just has the flu.
Mm-hmm.
And
good point.
Spoiler for the end of the episode, he did just have the flu. And so, yeah, she's on the money this time, because also, like, he doesn't have to go because the postcard shows up. And so everything she says comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
It also feels like she's acknowledging the deeper difference between his like personality and Traveling Matt, because Traveling Matt was clearly really excited about this but nervous, and she was like, "Yeah, go." And Gobo doesn't want to do this, and she's like, "So don't do it."
Yeah.
Yeah, and even after she says that, he was like, "Oh, I didn't want to do it," and so maybe she like reads that within him that he's not the same. He does not feel that same level of excitement as his uncle did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then at the end, after the conversation, she goes back to sleep, and there's this beautiful image of her, like, yawning and just deflating.
Mm-hmm. And a cute little moment, normally, you know, when File and Gunge introduce her, it's like, the all-knowing trash heap, yeah. And this time, instead of saying, yeah, they yawn. And they also refer to her as the cosmic cruddiness, which I just love.
It's a good title.
That was a fake yawn, but it turned into a real one. I'm sleepy.
Same.
Hey, listener, I hope I made you yawn. Go take a nap. You deserve it.
So then Gobo heads back to Fraggle Rock, where everyone is setting up for a giant going-away surprise party for Gobo, not knowing that he's resolved at this point to stay. And then they all jump out to surprise him, and Gobo has this moment where he's like, I guess I've got to go now. I guess I don't have a choice. And they sing a song. And during the song, he's, like, donning all of this, like, this armor. He's got, like, this spiky coat. He's got what looks like almost like a little aviator cap. And then they give him also just a stick with a giant scary face on it to scare the germs away.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song is called Rollin' On.
But yeah, I also, can I just say, that moment before they jump out, there's just like a single Twizzler truck going by, which is A, really good world building and makes it feel more organic, and B, that, like, noise in the silence was a little bit unsettling. I was like, oh, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, and they're also doing a tracking shot of Gobo as he's walking around looking for where everybody went, and the camera's, like, following him as he's walking through the space, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Y'all should talk more about the party, and then I want to get into my, like, deep, the moment about the thing and the stuff.
Yeah.
I'm good at word zing. I'm great languager.
So... there's this great interlude in the middle of the song, because the song is all about, you know, psyching Gobo up to be like, you can do this scary thing, and we're cheering you on, woohoo! And he tries to tell them, like, oh, well, actually, I have something to tell you. And Moki, of course, this is the third time we've now seen her steamrolling, because she assumes she assumes she knows what someone else is feeling without actually asking. She says, no, you don't have to tell a thing. Tomorrow you will face the unknown, alone. And we think you're heroic, don't we, Fraggles? It's just, yeah. Moki's now firmly established herself as the one who tries to be supportive by not actually listening to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this big whole party. And then we have a really beautiful exchange. And it's incredibly artful how they do this, because we all realize with Red that the reason she's making all these jokes about how he's not actually going to go is because she doesn't want him to go. And they could have just had that as a line of dialogue and it would have been cheesy in camp. But they let us realize it, and that's really sweet. And the reason that all of the, like, weird kind of cowboy John Wayne style stuff is there is because that's him engaging in performative bravery.
Yes.
He's like, I need to act brave, and I need to be acting brave like these role models, even though he's not feeling it. And when we actually see him choose to act brave, he drops all of that. And she's like, you're not going to go. And he just says, see you later, Red. And that's how she knows he's serious. And that's how he knows he's serious.
Yeah, it's a great moment of show, don't tell, you know? Because, yeah, they could just put it in plain words of her turning to the camera being like, but I don't actually want him to go. But they do it instead through, like, their conversation, the performance, the tone of Red, you know, her, after he walks off, like, she has a moment to herself. And it's very smart, as is, like, this entire show. But I agree that it's a really poignant moment.
And it's really well set up.
Yeah, good build to it.
Because you have the two through lines, right? You have the through line of her being like, oh, he's not going to go, into the realization of I don't want him to. And then you have him being like, oh, I'm brave. And like, no, I got to go. And so you get these two double payoffs that are linked at the same time. And that's not easy to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not only do they do it, they did it really subtly. It's really good writing in the show.
Mm-hmm. Let me double check who this episode is written by. This episode was written by David Young, who is not one of the names that I already had in the back of my head, but I will now learn it. Wrote 11 episodes of Fraggle Rock.
Okay, that's a good amount of episodes.
Yeah.
It's a solid amount of episodes.
Knows his stuff.
Dang, he wrote Marooned.
He wrote Marooned? Oh, yeah. That makes sense why he, like, has, expertise on writing on, like, well, definitely heavier topics like Marooned, but like can give
the chops.
Can give like the grace to these moments.
Yeah,
that a lot of other like shows meant for kids don't necessarily give.
So yeah,
cool.
No spoilers yet. We will get to that intense episode.
I really thought Marooned was earlier in this season, so knowing we have to wait till closer to the end is a bit of a bummer, but I'm excited to get there because it's one of the best episodes and it makes me cry. Anyway, no spoilers. Moving on.
Definitely not. I guess we'll get there when we get it.
We'll get there when we get there. After this scene, we cut back to Doc and Sprocket, and I did write down what in the Ebenezer Scrooge is Doc wearing to sleep in. He's just wearing like the classic like old-timey big shirt nightgown.
It's so good.
Give this man a candle on a candlestick holder.
Basically, like, if you had asked me before this episode, what does Doc wear to sleep, I would have said, like, a matching set of, like, flannel, like, plaid pajamas or something. Yep. But nope, he's wearing the big shirt look, which was just... I
want that to be a swear now. Just, what in the Ebenezer Scrooge are you doing?
But yeah, he's putting Sprocket to bed, and Sprocket is still so afraid of the thunderstorm that he wants to wear the lightning deflector to sleep in.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't? It looks so comfortable.
Yeah, super comfy, cozy. And then Doc turns the light off to go to sleep, and that's when we get Gobo entering the space because he's decided he's gonna like practice, right, for taking off. Mm-hmm. And so he's come in the middle of the night to wander the workshop, and we've got Sprocket with the deflector on his head, and Gobo is still holding his big like mask on a stick to scare away germs.
Yeah. And so at first he's like, okay, this is no problem. This is just a pitch black room with a door in it, like any other number of pitch black rooms I've been in before. The odd little crack full of germs, nothing to be alarmed about. I love that he's gone from psyching himself up to calming himself down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, self-soothing.
Yeah. Like those moments when you have to become your own expert authority figure of like, there's nothing dangerous here, this is fine.
I can regulate my own emotions.
Yep.
But then, yeah, Sprocket and Gobo freak each other out because they're not expecting to see the other one, let alone like with all the other, contraptions or outfits on.
I've had relationships like that.
They're both looking very different and very extra.
Yes, exactly. And they both get freaked out, and Gobo runs back into the Fraggle hole.
Well, and it's fascinating, and like I any other show, I would assume that this is just like an accident, but with Fraggle Rock, it's entirely possible it's intentional. The things that freak each other out are specifically the things that they're clinging to try to feel safe in a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, what brings them comfort is the thing that scares the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels significant somehow, but I'm not sure how. Like, how does that...
It's not exactly on theme, but it is a very poignant piece of organic symbolism.
Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, what a correlation in real life would be.
I mean, relationships where your coping mechanism that keeps you safe pushes people away.
Or even just looks off-putting. Like, isn't necessarily dangerous, just seems weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comes off as scary, even.
Yeah.
This has been Deep Relationship Advice with Fraggle Talk. Pivoting onto, it's a scene that comes off as really somber with Wembley and Gobo, but it has my favorite joke in the entire episode, where he's like he gives Wembley all of his moved rocks, and then he's like, all right, I want you to give this to Red. What is it? It's the only thing I ever won. Pie eating contest. Honorable mention. And I was howling.
So
my
rewound
God.
it.
Gobo says this with like one hand over his heart, the other hand in the air. pie eating.
Gravitas.
Honorable mention with the gravitas of a war veteran with a medal of bravery, and it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jerry Nelson's delivery of that line, he deserved an award for it. I almost swore right there. He deserved an Emmy for just that one line delivery. It was great.
100%.
Yeah, Gobo is giving all of his prized possessions away to his friends, and is clearly getting ready to go out into the world and maybe not come back for all he knows.
Yeah. So, he says, I want Red to have it after I'm gone. And Wembley, for the first time, is like, gone? You don't mean... And just leaves that hanging, and Gobo says, Wembley, I wish I could tell you how I'm feeling, but I just can't. Just give it to her after I'm gone, okay?
Oof.
Wembley says, I wish I understood this, Gobo. Gobo says, yeah, me too.
It feels so heavy. I don't want to touch on this for too long, because this gets maybe too deep, but the thought of someone giving a lot of their prized possessions away to their closest friends.
Yeah,
and again, I don't think that that's what they're trying to get at with this episode. But that is something that I couldn't help but think about in watching this scene.
Mm-hmm. It definitely muddles the theming a little bit in a way that, I don't know. I got what they were going for, but it also... I don't necessarily know if that was an intentional parallel, but it definitely, for anyone who's been adjacent to that kind of situation, it will jump out very starkly.
What I appreciated about it is that, so most children's shows are trying to, they're all about helping their young audience find the words to express what they're feeling, because that is a skill that human beings have to learn. Some people never do.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't always ways to do that. There are moments where you can't put words to what you're feeling. Not just kids, but grown-ups too. And that's what they're teaching in this moment. That sometime, try as you might, there aren't always words to express how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. I also I appreciate how earnest it was.
Yeah.
They're so good at being silly, and they're so good at that moment of no, actually, no, we mean this. This is earnest. I also wish I knew how to talk about this. I value that a lot.
Yeah. And that's what I love, that when I rewatch the series over and over, I pick up something new every time. And so this was that moment for me of oh, I didn't see that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's time for him to go. And he's all getting ready to go. And can I just say, if I was going to go on a dangerous trip, I would want all of my loving community to say goodbye to me by singing harmonies.
Right? It's so sweet.
I would want that.
Yeah, so apparently this song is called Now's the Time for Parting, but there really isn't much lyrics. It's just that one line and then a lot of humming. And it's a slowed down, bittersweet version of the same Catch the Tail by the Tiger melody.
Yeah. Just repurposing it. And yeah, Gobo finally admits to his friends that he's scared about leaving, and they all have this moment of you don't need to go, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they start by saying oh, Moki, of course, is oh, he's being so brave, and Gobo's like I'm not even brave enough to tell you guys the truth. Finally does, and I love that, he says, Red's right, I don't even know where I'm going. And she says, why go then? And he says, you guys expect me to. And I was like, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So this reminded me very strongly of, have you ever been, pigeonholed into a role in your group of friends?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was leaving Portland the first time to move up to Olympia for a few years to go to school. And, a friend that I had made was, we were saying goodbye, and she was talking about how, it was really cool, having you, become part of our friend group, and we kind of took on this role, and it was a lot of fun, but I think it might have been to your detriment a little bit in terms of limiting both how we saw you as a full human being and limiting your growth beyond that role.
Dang.
Right? I was like, holy cow, I don't know if I would have connected those dots if she hadn't laid it out for me. And that just this whole episode really brought home to me of the expectations that we place on each other, whether unintentionally or intentionally.
Yeah, and how, like, it's easy to do it, like you just said, with your friends. Like, we do it just based off of, I don't know, biases that just naturally we garner over the years with the people that we're closest to, you know. And obviously you can do it with, like, you know, organizers or leaders or whatnot, but it's even just like people in your day-to-day life, you know, that you've known for so long that you just eventually have expectations on them. And sometimes they don't want to adhere to those expectations, and they don't always have to either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get this great moment of, like, all of them realizing, like, oh, well then just don't go. And Red is the one to say it very, like, simple and bright and matter-of-fact and almost invitational.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go. And then he's like, oh gosh, thanks guys. But then you hear the background Fraggle singing, time to say goodbye. And Gobo's like, no, I gotta go. And the turnaround between, gosh, thanks guys, and I gotta go is 7 seconds.
Wow.
Wow.
And I remember us talking about, you know, that scene when Red was afraid to go into the hole to outer space, and that timing was, like, deliberately slow, and we got to feel the full weight of it. I feel like this was, at least for me, felt like a contrast, that it didn't feel slow enough. Like, it felt rushed, and I wanted more time to breathe. I wanted more time to feel Gobo feeling the weight of the switch between, you know, that rush of relief and then, oh, no, I actually do have to go.
Yeah, that feels intentional, because Gobo also would have liked more time to kind of sit with that.
Ooh.
And didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's a good point.
We've also seen him flip back and forth a couple times now, where he was certain he was going to go, and then Marjory told him not to, and then the surprise party, and then, like, here's this reveal, but now suddenly everyone's singing goodbye to him, and it's just, you know, all of these changes back and forth, and, you know, it's all coming to him fast, that maybe it's just that he just has to deal with it in the moment, like, and he probably would, like it was said, you know, have more time, but he's just, like, stuck and got to commit to it in the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that the reasoning that he gives here isn't, well, they all expect me to. It's because my uncle traveling Matt means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, that is, like, a legit thing that we have, like, found a brain chemistry reason for. That, like, fear plus oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical that we get when we feel a connection with other people, fear plus oxytocin equals bravery. That, like, we can be scared, and then if we see someone else in trouble that we identify as, like, some, like, part of our tribe, or however you want to, you know, however our old lizard brains interpret that is a person that I feel connected to, then we get the bravery to go do the thing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also he chooses to leave for Uncle Matt, and ultimately it's not the expectations of everyone else around him. He realizes he has to go because he loves his uncle, and he cares about his uncle and wants to make sure he's okay.
It really feels like the moral of this one is, you know, if you're going to do a dangerous thing, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. Not just because other people want it of you.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you had mentioned in episode 1, when we were talking about the various music styles we were going to get, you were like, Gregorian chants? And I was like, I don't know if we get Gregorian chants. I think the background Fraggles being like, so long, Gobo, might be the closest we get.
I was going to say, that's definitely not actual, like, stylistic Gregorian chants, but it is the closest we've gotten so far. And then there's this really lovely moment where he walks back and he's got a card.
Well, let's not cut to that too fast, because we first get this, like, after Gobo's gone, we get to see everyone's different reactions of grief and loss.
Yeah.
You know, at first Wembley's just like, I don't feel so good, and then he gives Red, you know, Gobo's pie-eating prize, and they both start to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And Wembley starts to cry and walk away, and then Boober is like, oh, she's crying, I can't bear this, and he starts to cry and walk away. Like, they're all separating from each other to go deal with this alone, except for Red and Moki, who stick together, and Red's like, I'm going to keep this prize forever and ever. You know, and Moki says, until Gobo comes back to us, no matter how long it takes. And Boober and Wembley are just like, I want to be alone for a while, and that's when Gobo returns. Like, I got a card. You can see how awkward he feels. Like, he's just coming back so anticlimactically of, like, I got a card.
Yeah, he left for 1 minute, and then he's back very quickly.
That's fine. He had the flu.
Yeah. I did really like the moment once he was back and everyone was happy for his return, but then he's like, do y'all want to hear the card? And everyone immediately is like, I got this other thing I gotta do, and no one wants to hear the postcard.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the excuses they give are, I've got some laundry to do, maybe later, and I gotta go take a nap.
I mean, they're probably drained from that entire experience, so they probably do actually need a nap, but yeah, it's just they've been waiting on this postcard the entire episode, and now that it's finally here, they're like, we get it. We know Matt's postcards, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's more just the fact that it finally showed up is what, changes everything, and not so much the content of the postcard.
Well, and then, like, the tail end of that is they're all just kind of leave him and he's standing there, and then Red pops up.
Yeah.
And it's not that she wants the postcard, she just wants to hang out with him.
She tries to, like, spook him for a second, and then they chase each other and start playing, and it's very nice.
It's really sweet.
Well, so first she has this moment where she's, like, insulted personally, that, like, all of this, like, how dare you make me feel things for nothing kind of a vibe, because she tosses his prize back to his feet and says, I believe this belongs to you, and walks away with her nose in the air.
Well, I was wondering if it was her feeling, like, insulted that, she did have to show all of these emotions and she's embarrassed, or if it is just her putting on, her kind of going back to this character she was before, and she's putting on this act of being kind of, like, above it all and not actually caring, but then we see when she comes back, for the last moments of this scene that, she is happy that her friend is there, and that she cares that he's not going to go to outer space without her or anything like that.
Yeah. Alrighty. And then we have the tail end of Doc and Sprocket, which we've already talked about.
Sprocket got struck by lightning and is super into it. So weird.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice to land on.
Yeah.
He's probably got lifelong brain damage.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, at least he's conquered his fear, I guess, is the...
I mean, I think it is interesting that, and I'm super reading way too deep into this, but, like,
Good.
In the instance where, like, Doc wants to do something and Sprocket doesn't, Doc will force Sprocket to do something. And in the instance where Sprocket wants to do something and Doc doesn't, Doc will be like, fine, all right, I'll do it, and then do it again. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that is, there's something maybe there, whether it's there on purpose or not. I could also be scraping the bottom of the barrel. I am tired.
So, last note on the international versions.
Yes.
Oh, we got an international listener who gave us the correct pronunciation of the German names for Ned Schimmelfinney and Fluffinella. That was so great.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Should I pull that up real quick and quote them?
Could you please? I have not had a chance to look at anything because it was the last week of school.
So this comes to us from @HoardingPuffin on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you, @HoardingPuffin.
It says, finish the episode. Also, I'm so happy to hear the German variant reference to as a German Fraggle geek. A friend recommended I should add pronunciation guides for the German names for Fluffinella and Ned Schimmelfinney, so here goes. The cat's name in German is Flippinula.
That's amazing.
And Schimmelfinney is Heimelgrowler.
Heimelgrowler and Flippinula.
Heimelgrowler and Flippinula. So thank you so much.
All right.
Lotta on Instagram.
Rad. That's awesome.
That sounds like the best knockoff, like, Banjo and Kazooie ever. Heimelgrowler and Flippinula.
In the German version, Uncle Matt's postcard is new footage shot in Austria. Matt is amazed by a yodeling man and 3 others playing Alp horns. He tries to copy their actions and also tries to smoke a pipe, but doesn't enjoy it.
Remember, kids, don't smoke, it's bad for you.
In the French version, let's say, worried by news of an energy crisis, Doc saddles Croquette, one of Uncle George's gadgets, to act as a moving target and collect and utilize natural energy. Croquette's fears are only exacerbated by this. While Doc monitors the energy on a panel, he removes the lightning hat and sneaks back in. When the lightning rod is struck by lightning, Doc is shaken and realizes that his dog is more important than an energy raid. Like,
I like that, Doc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we get that one?
Where's that realization in this doc?
Meanwhile, Uncle Matt rides atop of an automobile, noticing the French signs and motorist reactions to lights and each other.
Cool.
How can we make the world more fragglier based off of this episode?
I'll take the earnest one first instead of the joke one last. Be open with your friends about how you feel about them instead of hiding behind a protective layer of irony. If you really want your friend to not go do something dangerous, just tell them that.
Yeah.
Mine's silly. Just if you are afraid of germs or getting sick, just make a giant mask of a scary face, put it on a stick, and carry it around with you, and that will surely solve all of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a stick is the most effective place to put a mask to protect you from germs.
Oh no! Oh no! It's a different kind of mask. Or, you know what? You're right, though. Make a scary mask out of, like, one of a N95 or a nurse's mask or something, and just put that on yourself and, then go out into the world. You might get some even stranger looks than just carrying it around on a stick, though.
You know how at the Exploratorium, like, they give you the little, like, sticker when you welcome, and when you leave, you have to add it to the sticker statue. Well, we've been looking for something to do with used N95s for a long time. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Just make them into weird, scary mask art.
Scare those germs away.
I mean, it'll definitely scare away the anti-maskers.
That's
like,
also,
I'm super mask.
Which aren't they the germs of the people? Anyway. Oops.
Anti-maskers, the germs of people. You heard it here first. Beth, how we gonna make the world a little fragglier? You can just say, remember to install your updates on your computer before you start recording.
Oh my god, that.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say a thing about, like, roles within the group and blah, 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 but you're absolutely right. Make any necessary installations before it's time to record the podcast.
Legit.
All right. That is it for this one. Thanks so much for listening. Reminder to check out toughpigs.com. If you want to find me on social media, I am at Beth Anna Cook. That's Anna with 2 N's.
You can find me at Geek Girl Grown Up, or occasionally writing for Tough Pigs, and also at juliagaskill.com for some poetry stuff.
I am not yet ready to be perceived, but soon I might be.
Ooh.
Boom, boom, boom.
Foreshadowing.
Nah, 5 shadowing, because that's one more than foreshadowing.
Oh, we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk. Bam.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. The Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, please find us at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, TeePublic, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
Drink this coffee very quickly before we start. Oh, there's so much more than I thought there was.
I'm so glad we have that, because that's a perfect sting for the after credits thing.